Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly, the show where I give you guys the top 5 prog news headlines for the week, introduce you guys to some new prog singles, and get you excited about what's coming in the world of Nathan on Shuffle on the channel. And so hopefully you guys are excited about what's to come. There's a lot of great records coming out that I'm excited to talk about. It should be March 16th when I actually release this episode. I'm doing things a little bit different in the schedule this week because I wanted to put out my Steven Wilson review a little bit early because everyone's buzzing about it and talking about it, and I felt like if I delayed that too long, it would get a little bit missed, and the excitement would have died down at the time of release. So I'm putting this episode, I think, on Sunday rather than typical where I put it out either Friday or Saturday. Just my schedule's been a little bit wacky, but I wanted to put out my episode for the week. And I'm going to be doing this fairly quickly. There's not anything major and huge, I think, but there's some really cool little interesting tidbits that I want to make sure to discuss here. It was actually a big weekend for new releases. We've gotten the new Steven Wilson record, the overview, as I mentioned. My review should be out by the time this comes out, so please check out that review for my full thoughts. I did a pretty expansive review. I had a lot to say about this one, so I definitely point your attention to that. I'm also going to be doing a review of the new Charlie Griffiths record, which is actually going under the name of Tiktaalika. And the album's called Gods of Pangaea. Definitely recommended for fans of like classic metal or 80s thrash metal. Wasn't really to my taste personally, but you'll see that in the review. But I still recommend it. I still think it could be awesome for you if you're a fan of this kind of music. John Anderson and the band Geeks released a live album, Live Perpetual Change, this weekend as well. I love what John Anderson and the band Geeks have been doing. The previous album, True, was just a true absolute wonderful work of music that I've really enjoyed. One of my favorite records of last year, and them doing classic Yes songs. I'll take that any day of the week. So definitely a big release. And Coheed and Cambria released their third album from their Vaxis trilogy of albums. The album's called The Father of Make Believe. Really fun, really cool record if you just like that cool alternative rock sound with little bit of prog flourishes. It's just really fantastic. So definitely worth checking out. But into the prog news top 5 here. I saw that Gentle Giant's Playing the Fool, the complete live experience, is going to be released in May, on May 2nd through Chrysalis Records. I'm a huge Gentle Giant fan. I think they're one of the best classic prog bands, maybe a slight bit underrated, but I think people are coming around to their brilliance. So they've been releasing a lot of their records in remakes form, a lot of them done by Steven Wilson. This mix is actually not done by Steven Wilson, but done by another fan of the band. But it's supposed to sound really great, some really great new additions coming out. They're adding some tracks, I think, from the classic track list. It's coming in several formats, double CD, triple vinyl, and also in a Blu-ray package with 5.1 surround sound and Dolby Atmos mixes. It's mixed and mastered from Dan Bornemark, who's worked with the band extensively on recent archival projects. So should be really great with some great new sleeve notes and photographs, and should be a really fun time. It's one of the best, to me, live albums from a progressive rock band. It just showcases their skill. They were excellent live performers. They do really intricate, crazy music with lots of different instrumentation, and they're able to pull it off fantastically live. It's a spectacle to behold, and definitely a notable release that I'll be checking out for sure. Item number 2, Magic Pie announced their new album, Maestro. This is a Norwegian prog rock band. They're releasing this album on Charisma Records on May 16th on CD, LP, and digital formats. It's available for pre-order as well. And they've released their first single from it called Everyday Hero, which is a cool, smaller track, kind of just a fun little rock tune that they've put together. So definitely check that out in the prog singles list. I love Magic Pie. They're one of my favorite underrated prog bands. They're going to be on Cruise to the Edge, I believe, this year. So excited to see them live promoting this new record, I'm imagining. I believe that the album was mixed by Rich Mauser, mixed by Jacob Holm Lupo, and mastered by Rich Mauser. Rich Mauser, unfortunately, lost his home and studio in the California fires just a few weeks ago. But fortunately, this record was finished just a little bit before that happened. So kind of great that they were able to get this album finished before all that tragedy struck. Of course, a very unfortunate tragedy that happened, and really my heart goes out to everyone who was affected by that. I'm in the area, but fortunately did not really have any effects personally from the fires. But yeah, it was a pretty horrible experience. But yeah, the album should be really fun if you like that kind of classic rock, classic hard rock and prog style that they put together. This should be a really fun record. This is their 6th full-length record, and I've really enjoyed everything they've produced, so I'll definitely be talking about it on the channel. Lars Fredrik Frøislie announces his new album, Gamle Mester. This is the keyboardist of Wobbler. Wobbler's one of my favorite acts, a Norwegian prog group that's a must-listen for modern prog fans. He released his first solo album, Fire for to Linger, in 2023. And really delves back into a classic 70s style sound, has these kind of vintage instruments that he plays on the record. He pays homage to a lot of the greats of the genre, and it should be a really super fun album to listen to. He's taking on the vocals and drums, as well as a formidable array of analog keyboards, Hammonds and Mellotrons, and all of the classics that you'd expect from a classic prog release. He's joined by Nikolai Hangsgli on Rickenbacker bass and Ketil Einarsson on a flute and recorder. So that's the soundscape you could expect. There's a track that's available, the title track, to stream and to check out. I'm going to put that in this prog singles list to get a little taste of it, but should be a fantastic, great record. If I didn't mention it, it's coming out, let's see, I want to make sure I get the date right, on May 9th. And it's available for pre-order now on various formats: CD, limited edition, gatefold LP, on green/transparent marble, vinyl, and digital formats. So check it out if you're interested in that. Definitely want to bring that to people's attention because it's some of the greatest modern prog out there at the moment. A couple of quick hit items. Item 4 and 5 I just want to spend very minimal amount of time on. But I wanted to mention that Mastodon announced the shock departure of their guitarist Brent Hinds, which is a big lineup change for the band. This is like more of a prog metal outfit. Not really a band that I follow exclusively, but I've dabbled with them. I've listened to several of their records. I think they have a really cool style to them. This is the first lineup change for the band, and a lot of fans are dismayed by this and are concerned about what they're going to do moving forward, since he was such a big part of the band's sound. So I thought that was interesting news to bring up if anyone's a fan of Mastodon, that they lost one of their main members there. And we'll see what they do continuing forward. And then I thought this was an interesting story that a lawyer considers a class action lawsuit as Tool fans express anger over setlist choices. Apparently at a music festival that's headlined around Tool in the Sand, they did this 2-night event where they were allegedly going to play 2 nights with different set lists, but they actually played some similar songs between the 2 sets. They played Fear Inoculum, Rosetta Stone, Numa, and Jambi on both nights. And many people in the crowd had shelled out thousands of dollars to attend this festival and were expecting 2 different set lists throughout different nights, so they were upset about it. I think I heard there was some booing for the band during the repeat performances, and there's even some possible legal action that might be taken about this. Probably won't go anywhere, but I just thought it was interesting how people perceive these festival performances and what fans expect versus what bands produce forward for people. I thought it was interesting and kind of a unique news item to talk about, since Tool, are considered in that kind of progressive metal vein. I thought it fit into the mold of the show here. But yeah, let's move into the prog singles list. So I've already talked about a couple of them, with the Lars Fredrik Frøislie track and, of course, the Magic Pie track. Those are both on the prog singles list. But also, in addition to those, I have Terra Maze, their new album was announced, The Harmony Machine, coming out April 18th. They seem to release albums constantly. They're an Australian progressive metal band. They just released an album last year, so this is a quick turnaround for them. But they have a track. It's been out a couple weeks, but I haven't put it on the channel yet, so I wanted to mention it, called Ending of All. So I'm excited to see what's in store for them. A great track. I also put on a track from Envy of None called The Story. I thought their album was coming out this week. I don't know if it got delayed or I was just misinformed, but it seems like the official release is actually in a couple weeks on the 28th. So still have a couple weeks to wait for the full-length album. The album is called Stygian Waves. The band features Alex Lifeson of Rush fame on the guitar, which is why I'm mentioning it on the channel. I believe they're signed through K-Scope Records, so the album's available in multiple formats. The track The Story is really cool. They have a female lead vocalist. They kind of dabble a little bit between pop and electronica, but a little bit of rockier influences as well. So it's a unique, interesting blend, not your typical progressive rock. It doesn't really sound like Rush at all, despite having Alex Lifeson in the group. So really fascinated by that project and excited to hear the album. And I also put out the track Benthos, their track Let Me Plunge. This is an Italian quintet, a new progressive metal band that was recently signed to Inside Out. I've put several of their recent tracks on my YouTube playlist here, so this one's really fun. They're kind of like if you took Thank You Scientist and combine them with Periphery. They have kind of a heavier, more metallic edge, but they have this kind of cool jazzy side to them as well. So it's really cool. They have an album coming out soon as well. April 11th is when their album comes out, called From Nothing. And I've been listening to an early copy, and I think it's fantastic. Definitely one to watch if you don't mind some of the heavier sounds in the progressive metal soundscape. There's definitely some growling, some heavier moments, but it's really great for what it is. So really excited about that. So yeah, as for the channel, it's been a really good week. I had two pretty notable reviews this week that I've done. Car Mechanics Transmutation was reviewed this week, which is absolutely fantastic. One of my favorite prog records. So please look at my review and check out that record. It's fantastic. I also talked about the new Jethro Tull record, Curious Ruminant, which I was actually pleasantly surprised by. I think it's the best of the newer era Jethro Tull albums that have come out recently. So showcases kind of a classic Tull flavor, even though it still has some of the drawbacks of the modern Tull iteration, like Ian Anderson's vocal range and things of that nature, but still a great album, definitely well worth your time to check out. This week, and also I did the Overview, Steven Wilson's album. I put out that review yesterday, kind of shifted my schedule a little bit to put that one out a slight bit early, but check out that review. And this week I'm planning on putting out the Charlie Griffiths review, Gods of Pangaea. So that's really what's on the plate. I'm hoping to get back into some more shows with Jana next week. We're taking a little bit of a break because our schedules just haven't lined up to be able to record new episodes quite yet, but it's coming. You're going to hear more from me and Jana. We're not quitting our episodes of, progressive rock reactions and things like that, our Sunday Shuffle. So expect that on the horizon, and a whole host of new prog music to talk about and discuss. So thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you appreciated this episode. Let me know in the comments any items I may have missed from this week, and I hope you guys have a fantastic week next week. Until next time, enjoy the music, everybody. Bye.